Hiya everybody, welcome to a building tutorial from the mad mind of Missy. I'd like to start by apologising in advance if I sniff too much through the video. It's because I'm suffering very bad hay fever and I am trying very hard not to sniff. Anyway, as you've seen from the thumbnail and the description, I'm going to show you how to make a home that hovers in the sky. This is only possible on a non-dedicated server, so cannot be used to gain an advantage on a PvP or PvE server. If that's what you were hoping for, sorry. It's just a fun thing for people to play around with on their private worlds. It is possible that once Wildcard see this, they may decide to release a patch to prevent people from doing this, or they may be generous and decide to leave it in, as it does have zero effect on servers. So I'd like to say, Wildcard, please don't stop us from doing this cool building trick. It's in a private, non-dedicated world. It's not going to affect anybody apart from the person who wants it. If you try this months after the video release date and it doesn't work, please don't hate me. I'm not the one who programs the patches. I'm not going to show you how I built the home on top of the platforms. I will only show you how to get the platforms up into the air. I have tried this method several times since I discovered it last week, and the layout of the platforms has changed every time I've done it. This means each and every build will have to be custom made. Sorry, but this is not an exact science. So there we go, you can see the base from the outside now. And if I just activate the fly command, you can see there is not one single foundation or pillar on the floor to support this in the air. I discovered this method purely by accident. I was helping a friend, Jade Plays Games, check him out, great for ARK news. I was helping him to record a video on my world. I died. I respawned myself back at my bed whilst somebody was still on the raft and in control of it, and it teleported the raft to my position, and I've then come up with this idea of how to exploit that. So let's go. So to build this base I need to have 6 rafts covered with foundations. I just do 3x3 on the foundations. I don't attach anything to them because I want to keep the pieces used to an absolute minimum. And also I don't put a foundation over the tiller right now because I need a friend to be attached to the tiller to get the boat in place. So that's one ready. Only 5 more to go, and then on to the next. Right, now I've got these 6 rafts made and ready to be teleported. I need to make the platforms to teleport onto. So I just put some pillars up to the height I want, place a ceiling and place a bed on the first one. Now through my experiments I did find it's best to place one bed at a time and then destroy it as soon as you're done with it. This prevents you from teleporting the platform to the wrong bed and having 2 rafts merging into each other, which I did at one point and had to discard some of that project. So using the snap points you get in the ground, you can just lay the pillars, and then once you're the right distance across, you go up and you place the ceiling. I tried to make sure all of the ceilings are at exactly the same height, but if you wanted to have a base on several levels, you could have some of them lower and then use ramps to join them up, which I think would look quite cool and is probably going to be a building project at a later date, assuming Wildcard don't prevent me from doing this too soon. So that's where my first 3 rafts are going to go, and now I want to go out to the sides. I was going to shorten this video down a little bit and just show you how to make the first few platforms and lay them out, but I encountered a slight problem. It's mainly because of the difference in height in the ground, so I decided to let the video run, just so I can show you how to deal with the problem of the ground going a bit too low. So I've gone 3 forward and 3 back. So I'll just lay the pillars. As you can see, you get 2 snap points with the pillars. You get one which works out as half a building tile away. That's not the one you want, so make sure you get the right snap point far enough away. So there's the half snap point, and there's the full snap point, as I like to call it. And now I come up and then across to the other side. Obviously, if you want to make a smaller base, you just make less of these platforms. If you want to make a bigger base, then you're going to need a lot more. Now here I wasn't getting the snap point. I could have possibly snapped that half snap point and then gone across, but just to show you the way around. So all you do is a ceiling across and drop the pillars down. When you do this, it slightly alters the height your ceilings come in at, as you can see there. So because I want everything perfectly level, I just put the ceilings across, and that gives me the snap point to put the ceiling on the exact height that I want. And then that ceiling there, and that is very obviously too low. So I'll do one more pillar up, which I can see there is going to be too high. Ceilings across, and there we go. And I can just get rid of the excess ceilings that I don't want. And now we're on to the slightly tricky part of trying to teleport the rafts into position. I once had a boss who told me it's good to learn from your own mistakes, but even better if you can learn from other people's mistakes. So this is one of the mistakes that I had early on. I got my friend Jim to jump on the raft, and I then went and got myself killed. At this point I discovered when I respawn to the bed up in the air, the raft will be facing whatever direction it was facing when it was teleported. So make sure your rafts are lined up and bunched up correctly so they line up nice and tight. I'll try to make that a bit clearer in the video later. So here I am respawning. First thing I see is, well, the first thing I see is Jim's feet. Whew, yeah, they really need a wash. The next thing I see is the raft is facing the wrong direction and on an angle. So just need to get myself out of the raft because you will be stuck inside the raft. You can either get your friend to kill you, but my friend enjoys that far too much, or as you have the command codes, you can type in the ghost command and you will be able to go through the scenery, the rafts, the buildings, whatever you need. To disable that, just type in the word walk and you will be back to normal. And as you can see, that's wrong and needs to be destroyed. So as you can see here, nothing lined up properly. It was all a bit of a mess really, so I had to scrap it and start again. But this was just the experiment. So moving swiftly on, this is how to do it a little bit more accurately. I've put the rafts in a different position so they're facing, as near as I can tell, the direction I want them to be facing, and I then tweak them to get them as well lined up as possible. They don't have to be touching, but it just helps to give you a visual cue. And you make sure that you do this outside of the host bubble radius, which can vary depending on your connection of the host from 200 to 300 meters. So my friend is now attached to the boat. I kill myself and teleport, and that teleports my friend and the boat he is holding on to along with me. At this point, everybody who tried the experiments with me was saying the boat is on the floor, it's not in the air, even though I could clearly see it was in the air. Next time your friend comes back, the boat will be back up in the air, and also the noise in the background of the water, which you should be able to hear there, that will have stopped, so don't worry, you're not going to have to live with that noise constantly. And now, just to be sure I don't teleport to the wrong bed, I destroy that ceiling with the bed on it, and I then need to place a bed up on the next pillar that I want the next raft to go to. After the ghost command, don't forget to put walk in, otherwise you will drop under the scenery. So I just put in walk and head back to the rafts. Okay, so now that I've got all of 6 rafts up in the air, I can now start destroying the pillars that look like they're holding them up, even though they're not. So I'll just quickly go destroy all of the pillars. The next step I do, which I actually forgot to get footage of, was I went up onto the rafts and I placed a wood foundation in the gap where the tiller is on the back of the boat. This is because I don't want the tiller interfering with anything. I don't want people trying to interact with something in the base and accidentally grabbing the tiller. That would get annoying. For that reason also, I didn't sink the foundations into the raft as I normally would. And there you can see I have some gaps between. I got lucky, 2 of the platforms off to the back right joined up very nicely, so that ended up being the large house. And I then toyed with the idea of filling in all of the gaps to make it one big platform. I eventually decided to use just a single ceiling piece here and there to make a little walkway between each platform. So there you go. Once you've got the platforms in the air, you'll just have to improvise to build the base around whatever layout you end up getting, but you can certainly experiment and do some crazy things with it. I hope this video helped you. Feel free to give me a like or even a dislike. If you have any questions of anything I didn't make clear, put it in the comment section. I will try to answer. And let's all keep our fingers crossed that Wildcard don't patch this out, because I can really build some weird stuff with this idea. I love it. Anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it helped you. Hope it doesn't get patched. Wishing you all the best. Bye everybody.